Welcome back, guys. So I haven't reviewed any episodes of the Blacklist this season. One of the main reasons there is I've been very pressed on time. However, though, one other reason is I kinda got tired of reviewing the same thing over and over again. Not the same series, but the same sort of events being repeated over and over again. I mean, there's been this one question we've been talking about for a few seasons so far: who in the hell is Raymond Reddington? And we haven't gotten a real answer so far. I do still believe that Raymond Reddington is still Raymond Reddington. All that crap about breadcrumbs and whatnot does not really amount to anything in my opinion. But yeah, though, it kinda got a little bit boring. I mean, Raymond is Katarina, Katarina is Raymond. That theory that was out there, the way the series did at moments try to feed in the narrative that Raymond is possibly Katarina. But however, that theory didn't really hold much water because we did end up meeting Katarina in the flesh, and so those supporting this theory are no longer thinking that, or at least they shouldn't be thinking that. But okay, there's the other thing: Raymond is Ilya Koslov. Now, I did for a moment think that was a possibility closer to the end of Season 6, but then on the finale of Season 6 we met the stranger, and I thought back then, maybe that stranger is exactly who we think Raymond Reddington is. He is Ilya Koslov. And that idea kinda paid off over the course of Season 7. We did meet the stranger again, only now he's given a name, and the name is Ilya Koslov, and that was confirmed by more than one person. It was confirmed by Ilya himself, it was confirmed by Raymond Reddington, and was confirmed by Katarina. Also, and to kill any argument towards the possibility he is Ilya Koslov, there is the fact that Dembe over the course of the season does mention to Raymond Reddington that Elizabeth does know that he's not really Ilya Koslov. So yeah, that one as well is out of the window. But that brings us to the finale of the season after talking about all the boredom with the one mystery they've been going around with over the course of a few seasons, while all the time trying to keep us busy with it. It has become boring. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are not liking it anymore. I mean, reveal it already and move on to another story, or just end the series on a high note if you don't have any more stories to tell. But speaking of the finale though, another Blacklister, not gonna discuss the details on that one because that's pretty much every single episode. A single story, a side story that either enriches the core story of the series or enriches one of the characters or has got nothing to do with anything. Just another story to add to the episode count and to fill airtime. Not saying they're not interesting, it's always very interesting to watch James Spader in action, to listen to those stories that he tells, but that though does not negate their filler stories because one condition is not necessarily mutually exclusive with the other. However though, looking at this episode, we do see the animation style they went with, the graphic style they went with, and I really liked it. I think they should apply it a little bit more over the course of the upcoming seasons. Not too much, not as much as this episode. I'd like to see the characters in the flesh, all the acting in the flesh, even though the animated Elizabeth Keene has a much bigger emotional range than Megan Boone as Elizabeth Keene. Seriously, this is the one time I've enjoyed the character of Elizabeth Keene more than any other time since the beginning of the series, since Season 1. I mean, really, the emotional range on the animated character, just really good. But yeah though, given the situation with COVID-19 and the fact that a lot of series had to cut their seasons short in such a way that a lot of series didn't feel like they had actual finales, this series did it really well. The animation replacement of the actual acting in order to make sure that they've got a solid finale, that was a really good move on their end, and it did feel like a finale. That twist with Liz at the end, that did feel like a finale. Now, I'd be lying if I said that I did see that twist with Liz coming. I mean, I did see something coming with her, just not that twist. Aligning herself to her mother temporarily, maybe, but embracing the darkness in this fashion, becoming that version of Luke Skywalker that we never watched in the movies, the one that actually goes to the dark side, that I did not see coming. Loved the season ending, loved that moment on the rooftop, felt very superhero-like, supervillain-like in this case. But yeah, it felt really good. It felt like, the series is kind of starting to change the rhythm. So expecting Season 8 to be much better than Season 7, and expecting it to move the story forward as well, to shake things up. Now, the reason I saw something coming with Elizabeth Keene not embracing the darkness in this fashion exactly, but basically something happening by the end of the season, is the fact that she kept talking about that darkness throughout this entire season, little bit by little bit. Every time she helped Raymond Reddington with something against the will of Harold Cooper and Team Blacklist, yeah, I did sense that something is gonna change with Elizabeth, that they're trying to hint at something, just didn't figure out back then that it's gonna be this. Actually, I did think at some point that she's gonna align completely with Raymond Reddington. Like, yeah, I'm gonna still work with the task force, but I'm not gonna align completely with them. Part of my allegiance is gonna lie with Raymond Reddington. The other thing about the finale of the series is that there's the statement that her grandfather is gonna wake up. We know that actor Brian Donaghy passed away a few weeks ago, so yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna play that one out. I think they've got two options over here, still using that animated version, having someone else do the voiceover for the character, while having the animations themselves be ones of Brian Donaghy. And in that case, you can pick a voice that's pretty close to that of Brian Donaghy, someone who can do decent voice acting in such a way that he could kind of mimic that voice, or they're just gonna have to let go of that storyline, kind of move to another storyline, kill him off on the series, and just move on, change the narrative from what they planned going forward over the course of next season, and do whatever they plan on doing with his character, with another character, or in another way. Well, let's talk about that reveal that Katarina made halfway through this episode to Elizabeth, the blackmail file, the Sikorsky archive. Now, there was a statement by Liz about, this having to be the full truth, or she just doesn't want to hear about it. I think that statement was put there on purpose. It was put there in order for us to believe that Katarina is actually telling the full truth, even though part of the full truth might actually be missing in this case. Okay, so the Sikorsky archives, the blackmail file. That blackmail file she's accused of stealing. She didn't steal it, but Raymond knows who stole it. He insists on hiding the truth, he insists on protecting the person who stole it, and the poor gal just wants to know who stole it, who really stole it, in order to make sure that they are not after her anymore. It's not me, it's that other person. Now, there are many questions surrounding Katarina in this context and in other contexts since the beginning of the season. At the very end of last season, the very final scene of last season, the one leading up into all the events of the season, Raymond Reddington does head to Paris, meets her in Paris, tries to warn her, tries to tell her that they found out where she is. So he is trying to warn her, he is trying to tell her to make her run for it. He's not really all that much against her at that point. However, though, in the last couple of seconds of that scene, he's been sedated, he's been abducted by Katarina, and entering into this season, she's interrogating him, she's torturing him, she's making his life miserable. This is not a man who's trying to harm her. This is not a man, as she claims on this episode. She's trying to help while he's trying to get her killed. He was actually, genuinely trying to warn her, trying to make sure that she is safe. And every single move that she made, every single thing that she's done so far since that moment was about vengeance against Reddington, against Ilya, against her own father, Dom. She's the reason why Dom is on that bed. She's the reason why he is in that coma and why he's facing off with death. So, no, her motives are not all that clear. Her relationship with Red at this point is not all that clear. So, the conclusion here is, the moment you sniff a single lie on this episode, a single lie that she makes, that's when you start realizing, okay, maybe she made up other lies. The story that she told about the archive might be partially true, because the best lies are always built on part of the truth, but the story that she tells Elizabeth there, that might not be the full truth. And let us not take that statement of mine, blow it out of proportion, make it into something else, and try to make it sound like, okay, maybe she's also lying about being Katarina, maybe she's not Katarina, and Raymond Reddington is Katarina. But alright though, the one last thing that I want to mention about this episode, and actually the past few episodes, before I jump to one honorable mention about the season, that one episode that resonated with me a lot, that I loved a lot, one that actually gave us an insight into one of the characters, the mind, heart, and soul of that one character. I'm gonna talk about that in a moment, but let's first focus on Raymond Reddington, the illness of Raymond Reddington. Now, I'm not really sure what's going down with Raymond Reddington, this illness of his. I sure hope they did not write themselves into a corner. I hope it's not one of those things they're gonna prolong over the course of so many seasons. So it's either gonna be one of those things where Raymond Reddington ends up feeling better, or it's gonna be one thing that's gonna lead to his death at some point over the course of next season or the following season. Now that also means that the series is closing in on its end, and it makes a lot of sense because when you think about it, they've got 7 seasons so far, they're definitely not going to have 7 more, so yeah, the end is near. However, though, a poetic ending would be Raymond Reddington dying, with it being revealed that he is the real Raymond Reddington, and us realizing that Liz is just like father, like daughter. You know, he embraced the darkness when he had to, and she embraced the darkness at some point. She's gonna make better choices than what we saw at the end of the season. She's gonna be smarter than her mother. She's gonna be more like Red. This final moment of Season 7, you know, the rooftop and all, that's just the transformation phase. We don't really know what it really holds for Elizabeth Keene. So maybe as she embraces the darkness, she's gonna align herself with her mother temporarily, but then in the end, there's going to be some sort of course correction, because history repeats itself. And it would be interesting to watch it repeat itself with Elizabeth, Raymond Reddington's history repeating itself with Elizabeth Keene. Now going real quick over here for a token of appreciation for a single episode this season, I've got to say over here that I really appreciated the Donald Ressler-centric episode, the one with his brother, the one with the cop that they killed because he betrayed their father, you know, the corrupt cop. And I really believe that episode did add a lot to the character of Donald Ressler. It did tell us a lot about why he operates the way he operates, what motivates him, what is the main reason he's that way. He's always very angry at Raymond Reddington, you know, someone who he believes has betrayed his comrades at some point. It makes a lot of sense, because it is that kind of betrayal that led to the death of his father. That being said, my work here is done, so let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the season, what you thought of the finale, the animation, that episode with Donald Ressler, that Donald Ressler-centric episode, and what you thought of the season as a whole. Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it one of those much appreciated likes, subscribing to this channel, and make sure while you're at it to enable notifications in order to get updates whenever I upload a new video, publish a new community post, or start a new live stream. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, The Blacklist or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning into this one, and have a great day.